Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly catch-up number 13. Let's hope I've got that right, Mr. Holbrook. And joining us is our co-host, Jeffrey K. Holbrook. He's coming.
Greetings.
There he is.
How are you, sir? Let me adjust my camera here a little bit. There we go.
Good. Yeah.
Actually, I think it's number 12.
Oh, 12. I knew it was 11. 11 I got wrong. That's what it was. So it was number 12. So it's
number 12.
I thought I just added an extra one on. You know, I went into, after you said I've put the wrong one. So I went into Blab and it says edit. And so I went and edited it, put it on number 12, and then edit it. Then it says it disappeared. It said it's over and done.
Oh,
so I couldn't edit it. So I had to redo it again. And I was on my laptop. And I don't know. Did you see the picture?
Yeah, it looked like a fuselage of an airplane crash. Is that what that was?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Oh, wow. Was that local?
No, it was at Universal Studios in Los Angeles.
Ah, I see. Okay.
It was from the War of the Worlds scene, you know, where the plane crashes into the house, and that's.
Yeah, that looked very, very real. I thought it was actually a real plane crash you had down there somewhere.
Yeah, no. If it was real, I wouldn't have put it on there, but I only put it on there because it was fake.
Okay.
I think it would be very not the right thing to do if it was real anyway. And so, sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, did you find it easier to get in just using the laptop as opposed to using Wirecast?
Well, I'm not on the laptop. I'm on the same computer, but just not using Wirecast. I just left it up here. I just couldn't be bothered moving it today.
Okay.
So I did it without the Wirecast, and I thought it's freezing here at the moment. Like, I don't know what's 6 degrees Celsius in your type of, is it about 35 or something?
I would say it's in an area somewhere. The only things I know about the conversion between the two is in Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32 and then boils at 212, I think it is, and then it's 1 or 0 and 100 degrees, I think, for Celsius, right?
Well, that might be right. So about 35 then, by the sounds of it, because it's been that cold here. And, you know, for people like you said, well, that's nothing compared to what you have. But here we've had in some of our outlying suburbs snow I've never seen snow ever here since I've been here. So. Oh,
really? Well, okay. I see. So we're having summertime up here, and then I guess we'll have wintertime while you're having summertime. So is that an omen that your pop there you're drinking says 0 on it?
Yep, 0. That's right. Yep, that's right. Yes,
it'd be 0.
Yes, but it hasn't snowed here, fortunately. But that was another thing. This room up here, it gets down in my cold studio, waiting for that to heat up and do that. I'll just stay here. It's much warmer. So.
Oh yeah.
I see you've got some soundproofing there this week behind you.
Yes, the original thing seemed to be a little busy.
Yeah, with all your little microphone covers or something.
Yes. Let me show you. What I did with that was moved it to this door over here. Okay. That's the outside door. Yeah. Anyway, so it's not in the shot, but instead of having that stuff dancing behind me, besides I wanted something on that door anyway. So I thought, well, this is going to look better whenever we're doing the actual show. So I might as well go ahead and, it's about to fall off.
Don't do that and go inside.
Yeah, no, I just have it sitting on a little tiny stand right there, and it came loose.
And so that's what I'm doing as well with the camera. I'm not using the Canon. I'm just using the C920, the Logitech.
Yeah, looks good though. Well,
I thought it was quite good, and the only thing I can probably look better into the camera because it's more at eye height, whereas the other ones. You have to really concentrate to look right into the camera.
I shouldn't have moved it. There we go.
There you go.
I have my hand in front of it, so
go very blurry.
Well, we got another little bit of feedback on the show. On July 2nd is my oldest brother's birthday. I called him to wish him happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And he just spontaneously said, I really like the show you're doing with Jeff. He said, it's better than any of the other stuff you've done before. So
great.
So evidently you are the secret ingredient to my podcasting.
Well, the thing is, the things that I like to watch is something I can get involved in that's not too deep, because it's something that you don't hear all the time, and just people bantering around their different ideas of what they do. And I'm sorry to disappoint everybody this week, but I really haven't done anything memorable to do so. Then again, we can get into politics again and have heavy discussions.
I have a couple things to talk about, but the thing is, one of the things I'm finding is that younger folks, people that are in their 20s or so, their idea of what podcasting is like conversations, like free talking conversations. If you're just doing something scripted, like I've done up to this point, a lot of other stuff. And my wife and I had a little bit of free talk in the show we were doing about our state here, but this is the first time that I've ever done any banter show. But they think that the free exchange of ideas is what podcasting is. So if you're just on there talking and teaching or something, that's not what they want to hear. They want to hear a conversation, and with the spontaneity of that. And so that's kind of what I'm learning.
And that's exactly what I think. I think podcasting is exactly that. I think if we do a show, a set format, well, that's sort of an interview show. It's not podcasting anymore. To me, I think it's more like a talkback radio show where they just get off the cuff things that sort of have a beginning, middle, and end, but not much more. And I try to not come on prepared with anything, because if you do, it's just a bit stale. And we don't seem to have a problem of talking for an hour about nothing. That's why we limit it to an hour. So, and there's one of the very successful ones. I don't know if you've listened to Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak.
I know that's no agenda.
No agenda, and that's what they do there. But they take the news, pull it to pieces. But that's what they do, and that's what I love about them. You're just involved in their conversation, and they're so topical. And because they've got no sponsors, they don't care what they say.
Yeah, you know.
If they're usually people, we better not say that because we'll lose that sponsor. But because it's just the people who's listening will send them donations, and they've got quite a big following, so they don't probably need much people to do it. And I must admit, I'm what they call a douchebag because I don't pay anything; I just listen.
well, as far as that goes, the vast majority of people who listen to particular podcasts never give any feedback and never do any donations or anything. It's just about listening, and you're putting out this stuff for free. And that's the revolution of podcasting, is that you don't have to pay for it, and then the freedom to say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do without some producer saying, nope, can't do that. That's the whole point of the freedom.
Just hang on a second. We've just got to have a word from our sponsor, Canon. Now, no.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know about this one.
So before you...
But I am a Canon man when it comes to photography, though. I really do enjoy the Canon cameras. Well,
I must admit, my friend in Camarillo, Rick, he's just bought himself the Canon 5 DSR, I think it is. It's not there's the Canon 5D Mark III that's out, and waiting for the Mark IV, but there's a 5 DSR, but that's got a 50 megapixel sensor.
Well, I know the first ones ever to have that much were the digital versions of medium format cameras.
But this is a full frame camera, but as I said, most of the time you don't need it. But as I said, for that, when you zoom, the detail you get out of that, but it's more so meant for probably if you want to take a shot and you're going to put it on a 60 by 60 foot billboard or something, that you want that quality, or even if you're wanting small, but you just want that finer detail. But you definitely need to have some storage, because with 50 megapixel files, it's not going to be a small one for the faint-hearted anyway.
Well, the thing is, though, you could walk outside just point the camera in a general direction, hit the shutter, go back in, and there's probably 50 individual pictures at 10 or 12 megapixels in the middle of all that.
Yeah, that's right.
You just bring them down, and there's another picture. There's another picture.
But it's the thing is, it's the same thing with all, like with photography. I sometimes think, gee, I can't get that a good picture. I don't do that. But what I'm not doing right, I'm going out when I'm shooting and probably taking 20 or 40 pictures. Mm-hmm. But what the other ones do will probably take 500 or 600. We'll just keep taking them, and this is, I'll take that, put it on the fast take, just in case, and then they've taken it. After about 200 shots, there might be a half decent one. Mm-hmm. Whereas I'm waiting, I'm still stupid like the old photographer type thing, waiting. Oh, that looks good. Because it's still very hard to get out of your brain that each time you press that trigger, it's costing you money, but it's not anymore. You've just got to get over that. But then you've got to get to the next stage, though, is where you don't go out to take a few shots and come back with 10,000 shots. That's the other ridiculous thing.
Yeah, there's a real balance, because I know when I first wanted to get into photography, I would just take snapshots and people would comment on the composition and, wow, that's a good picture. Okay, I wanted to get into it. Well, I bought used in our local little trading place paper, like a 1969 Yashica TL Super. This was a steel camera, and of course it's the first 35 millimeter I'd ever owned, and it was completely manual. And of course, if you ever get caught in the woods and you meet a bear or something big, that's the camera you want, because you can just swing that thing around. No, you can swing that thing around and use it like a weapon, because that thing was steel. When you push the button, it was like closing a vault door. You knew you took a picture. You could feel it, And so I started with film, and of course, we were limited on budget for that type of thing. My wife tolerated it, which I appreciated. And the weddings that I shot back in the day, I had gotten better cameras by then, but the actual camera itself was what I started with, and I learned what shutter speeds and the apertures and all, and how they interacted, and did all kinds of experimentation. But there's a balance now then between taking photographs, not just snap shooting and hoping you get something on the other end. Like you say, you go through those 10,000 pictures, but actually looking for, and the old style of looking for the images. Yes, you might take 3 or 4. The picture that you saw with the bird flying out over the water. I'd been down there 3 times trying to catch that bird. It's just right down below my house, down off the hill here by the river. And I'd been trying to catch that bird. I'd been there over a week, about 3 times. I knew it lived down there. And finally I saw the thing coming, and I knew when it was going to get where it was supposed to go, but I took a shot right before that, nailed the shot, and then took a couple afterwards that really weren't, worth anything. But I knew when I got that shot. Composition and everything, I knew exactly when I got the shot. And I took about 4 shots, but I waited until it got within range, took it early, the timing, and then on the other thing. But people just blaze away with no sense of composition, and then they might get something, and occasionally they'll get a good picture. But there's a balance between the composition stuff and how many pictures you can actually take for free. And
that's exactly right. And people think you get the more expensive camera, the clearer, the better the picture. Well, clear and better pictures, not what it's all about. Sometimes it might be fuzzy, it has a bit of noise, but that might be what you're after. It doesn't. It's like something I always associate like with films, and look at the latest films with the high definition TVs, 4K. They look awful because it's so clear. You see every dimple, every bit of makeup that they've got. So what do? They click it down to 25 frames a second, put a filter on it to make it look a bit grungy so people can tolerate it. But as I said, it's not all about, you don't need this is said, a good photographer, doesn't matter what camera they get, they can get a good shot out of it. They can get out of a cheap iPhone, they'll get a good shot, because it's not all how it takes it, it's what they've taken a picture of and how the composition of and it's just, I can take a picture of a duck sat on a box and it will look awful, but you get somebody else that's the same duck on the same box, but that's really, and I do that myself and look at that, isn't it beautiful? And then, hang on, it's just a motorbike. I was watching this and I thought, I'm not into motorbikes, but I thought, look at that, the lovely shots he's got. But I said it was just a motorbike, but if I took it, would be just a motorbike, but maybe it was the long-haired, gorgeous young woman draped across it that made the difference as well.
those things do affect the acceptability of a particular photograph in a lot of ways.
But it was also the way he was, we've shown you him doing the shoot on it, but how he was making and not just sit there, like as I said, it was just the way he was making her sit on it as well. But it's all to do with that. It's not just the gear you've got, but to know what you're looking for. And they said when you're taking 50 shots, but you have to know what you're looking for to even start going after it.
Yeah, composition is something that you can learn some basic rules about, the rule of thirds and things like that. But composition is something that doesn't come in the camera. How you set the camera up, how you set the shot up. When you think about it, when you see an artist starting to sketch out something that's going to be a full-blown picture, they've got circles here and they've got a square over here, and the shapes that they're using to start to construct the image that they're going to eventually make. Those are the same principles for composing a photograph. Whenever he had her lay across the bike in whatever way,
he knew
the curves of the bike, the curves of her body, he was composing, he was drawing a picture. The only problem is it just didn't take so long. So you get her in the exact position, echoing different shapes, doing different things like that. And then my daughter, she went to prom, and my wife was one of the teacher's aides at the school. And so we went to the prom too. And I was just basically running around taking pictures of my daughter. And I did take some pictures of some other people. But there was this one particular thing where she was, I said, okay, so stand over there against the wall. They went to this place that looked like a castle. And so she stand over there against the wall. And then something happened and she just reached up and started to put her hair back. I said, oh, whoa, that's it. Stop. And she goes, okay. And she just went right back into the shape, and that was the best picture of the day, because I knew it. I mean, I just knew that was it. And I had one of those old 20s or 30s Hollywood classic shots look to it. I mean, that's just what it looked like. I thought, whoa, that's the picture right there. And when it happens and you jump in and you have that photography going and everything. And whenever you see the shapes come together the same way an artist would know, again, as he's laying out a picture, or she is, when those shapes come together. Hey, Eileen's here. When those shapes come together, you can see it, and then you nail it. And that's when you actually push the shutter.
I get that. I see quite often, that'd be a good shot. It's just done right. But it's always when you're on the freeway where you can't stop. On the bridge, where you're in a car, you just can't stop. And there's so many. And I thought, why can't I just stop here and take a picture? And there's so many great areas that you'd love to do, but they're always in places where they're inaccessible. But maybe that's allure. That's why it's a great shot, because you can never take it. Well, that's why I think it's such a good shot, because I'll never be able to take it.
Oh no, you'll be able to do it. Hey, some of the other folks are here too. Rick and Ramsey.
Oh yes,
and Mike the Monk.
Twice as many people as normal coming in.
Looks like it. Yeah, which means there's 4 in here now, right?
That's right. And usually with our troubles, it's it can be trying to make sure that there's 2 here at least. So.
Well, we can usually rate 2. Hey, I got a little taste of your e-learning modules this week. It was an interesting thing. The American Postal Workers Union, which I've been a member of for 30 years, just as part of my employment, got a new contract award. There was an arbitration thing, and it came out on Friday. And I had talked like last summer, because this had been going on since last summer, the negotiations. And then last November, the contract ran out, and then it went to arbitration. And so, they were all arguing about it. Well, the arbitration award was done. Well, I talked last summer to the guy that runs the website for our local that I could do a voiceover of the actual document, and it ended up being about 14 minutes. It's the highlights of it and what changes there were, and what raises or whatever was going on, and finished audio. It was a little over 14 minutes. And so I went ahead and did that. I had it, and I went in the booth back here and did the recording and did the editing and got it all set up and sounding really good. And then I gave it to the webmaster, and he loved it and said, "Oh, this is so great." And so he went ahead and put it on the site. And right now in Wisconsin, no, I think it's in Detroit, there's somebody who showed it to all their union officers and everything. Said, "Hey, the Charleston local's got, this audio of the thing." And then there's a guy in Indiana that put it on 2 different websites of theirs, the union websites. And so anyway, it's kind of getting passed around all over the place. And again, I did it not asking for money for it or anything, but it was just basically, for the cause, I guess. And well, what I found out was, you told me that whenever you have other people doing your when you're doing e-learning modules, it's better for you to go ahead and do your own, because the terminology, the little acronyms and all the little things that are in it. What is funny is I've been in this union for 30 years, but there were things in there that I had to ask how to pronounce. Like, there's the LMOU, there's the ET11s had a par. They're going to have a par for the ET11s. Well, that's nice to know. There's just all these different things. Okay, now how do you say this when it's Article 38.8.k? Yeah. How do you articulate that? Well, 38.8K. Okay, that's how you say. Okay, well, I had to ask that, and then I had to ask him, the new president that had been involved in the stuff. I didn't know if it was Dimmenstein or Dimmenstein was his last name, and so I had to ask that. And so I asked several things, and evidently I got it right because everybody seems really happy with it. But there was a lot of things, and me being a member all this time, I still ran into things I didn't know how to say. So if you're making the learning module yourself because you did the process yourself, there's a complete, I can totally see how you would have an advantage because you know what all these things are and how they're pronounced and how they're articulated. And I had to do some learning in spite of the fact that I was part of the system.
Yeah, but you enjoyed it though, did you?
Oh, I did. I loved it. It was great.
And after doing books, it's so much, like you said, 14 minutes is a long time, but it's much, much easier talking about things that you're interested in because it's your union. So it's something that you're really heavily involved in, with whether you like it or not. So it's easy to talk about things. It's not like a book where, yes, you might have read it, but it's hasn't been your life for all these years working there. Whereas these e-learning modules, and just as I said, it's something you was interested. You know how to talk about it because you know about the emotion you need to put on a particular thing, because you'd be the one listening to that from some. Oh, that sounds good. And you say, oh, it sounds pretty boring about that. There is a 50% increase. Wow! Yes! Not that excited, but but you could say it with a little bit more. There is a 50% increase in the dollar amount that we will be getting, but you wouldn't say it like that. No. You'd be said you want to say, make a big point. We've managed to get a 10%. Would you believe it? 10%. I find that very hard to believe.
What was
2%? Would you believe the thinking about it? So.
Well, what we did was what was funny was there was just a memo that was put out on the National Union website, and what I did was I just read that, used that as the script, and then learned the different pronunciations on a couple of things. But what's funny is I like to do shorter form stuff, and then I'll do 2 or 3 takes just to make sure. And so what I did was I did the first take, and then about 15, 20 minutes later, I came back and I did a second take. And okay, that's good. So then I transport it into the computer and I'm going to do the editing. And what's funny is I'm listening through the first one. I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. What? And what happened was that there was this phrase in there, there would be a moratorium on plant closings.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't catch it. There was several things that I had repeated, that I didn't think I said correctly. But I said there was a moratorium on plant closings. I'm thinking, what in the world, I mean, this first take's going so well. There will be a moratorium on plant closings.
And you said it so clearly.
Oh, I said it, yeah, and with authority,
Plant closings.
And so it's like, what in the world? So then I go over the next one and I checked really quickly. Yes, I said that correctly on the second take. But you remember I told you when I was doing the audiobook how everything exactly the same distance from the microphone, mm-hmm. Everything's happening, but I still could not 100% control how loudly I was saying it or whatever. And between those two takes that only had about a 15-minute break in between, there was a difference. And I was speaking softer in the second take, not drastically softer. It was still fine, but I mean, I could see it just in the wave on the screen. It was different from the first take. So it wasn't like I could take something out of one take and put it in the other. No. It was all or nothing, but at least I didn't say plant closings on the second one. But that first time I was saying it with authority too, buddy.
But that's why I find with the vocal processors and that, like the affix, and that's one thing that they do. They don't change your voice a lot, but they make it easy. So no matter where you move, you're getting a constant sound from the microphone. So as long as you're within that sort of area, that usually does it. Whereas without one, the moment you move, it sounds so different. And if you said you could be just that little bit, whereas they tend to, wherever you go, unless you're really way off base, it really makes a big difference.
Well, this one here in the booth back there, I have the mic actually mounted on a boom on the wall, and I did not move the chair. I made sure I did not move the chair. Everything was exactly in the same positions. I'm setting exactly the same way in the same place. And what I can tell, the distance from it, nothing was different except the way I talk. And so the second time maybe I was more comfortable, or something, but it was just, I could see that it was just a slightly lower volume, still plenty acceptable, but the two were not interchangeable at all. Because I just sounded like I was more comfortable in saying it softer the second take than I did the first time.
Yeah, as long as that's the thing is you can get away with it if you're saying it the same thing, but sometimes if you do it at a different time or you're a bit fresher, so you're a bit more lively, and late at night you're saying it nicely, but you really just want to get it over and done with. Whereas you're much more enthusiastic. I always make a point jotting down, as I said, with the same time, but you've tried that, and it's still, but that's why I do, because the same time of the day you sound the same. But he said, but you don't know what have you done in that day. That makes a difference, because some days when you did that recording, you might not have done much talking or whatever, or you might have done more that made it better. Because sometimes then people say, oh, when you're doing that, you shouldn't drink coffee, you shouldn't do that. But you see some of these top voiceovers, no, they have a coffee before they start. It puts them in the right. They said it all depends what works for you. And as I said, all these different things affect different people, don't they? So,
well, what I had done was made before I got started. I was feeling a little scratchy, but it wasn't bad. I made this huge cup of tea. You remember the one I told you that puts a dot on my nose whenever I have hot chocolate? Anyway, it was green tea, hot tea, like everyone should drink.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway, it was green tea with actually lime juice and honey. Okay. And I got several drinks of it and was great and was feeling good and everything before I did the first take. And then I sat down and drank more in between takes. And it was only about 15 or 20 minutes after the first take that I sat down and did this other take. And so and again, I was speaking with the same authority, really. I mean, like you said, but I didn't say the plant closings, but it was with, it was with the same authority. It was with the same energy and everything like that. It just seemed not quite as loud was what it seemed.
The thing is, I found if you're doing an e-learning project and things like that, you can get away with a little bit more, because most of the things, if you're going to do that, it's a different scene. It stops and then clicks over to the next scene and then starts again.
Yes.
Whereas if you're doing a book where it's all in one big paragraph, you can't get away with it. Whereas if you say and finish, click next to continue, where they've broken off from that, it starts again. Unless they quickly go back and match them up, it's very hard to pick the difference. But when it's still in one big thing, and I've done that before, if it's a nice big paragraph, so no, you just got to record the whole. I try to just do it in the one sitting and just keep doing it, because if you don't, you come back the next day, it's very, very hard to get the exactly the same. But sometimes I can get to I've got in some of them good enough where you can go and just record the different ones, and if you know how to with Audition, I know, oh, that's a bit loud, I'll match that down to that sound, and as long as you get the level right, it usually comes out okay. And as I said, it's the same time of day, but it's that's what I hate, when you go through and do a whole lot of things, and you said you come up with your pant closings, and and you think, and it's one, you think then, but that makes you say things differently the next time, because you realize maybe then you said instead of, I'm saying plant closings now, I can't get it wrong now, but you tend to say the word before it and the word after it as one word sometimes, and you think no, you can't. The plant closing, but if you say plant closing and something like that, you have the word before and the word after it, so it's not so you can't separate it anymore. You can't just say plant closing.
Yeah, it's just kind of well, I have a tendency whenever I read anyway to try to articulate really well, and probably a lot of it has to do with the fact that people expect West Virginians not to be able to speak, concisely or precisely or enunciate or whatever. And so whenever I'm reading formally, then I do attempt to separate the words and do as well as I can anyway. But there are, but you can see right in the wave, somebody look at you and say, well, hey, how's it going? You know what's going on? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then
one big word.
But if you're really tight with Audacity, you can actually sometimes magnify it enough to where you can pull out a word out of the middle of it or something like that. So I've
really been with some of the ones that I've done, and I've been so proud of it. And you say, get somebody at work to say, could you have a listen to this? What's wrong with this? Say, nothing. And you said, just listen with headphones, and they can't pick it. And then you tell them what you've done after it. Said, well, I messed that up. I re-recorded that. But you couldn't tell any different. But it's always better to get somebody else to listen to it, because you know exactly the millisecond that you've made that mistake, and you can hear that click. Even it might not be there, but you hear it in your head. That's exactly where, and that's a new bit. And people can't notice it, but you can always notice it. It's a bit like you do that in when you're watching films, and that most people won't notice it, but when you're interested in them, you can pick up a lot of, hey, they've done, they didn't catch that one. I saw them click that, or when you see little bits of the mic pop in at the top, most people, because they're not looking for it.
Right.
You see it in a million years, you think, oh, it's something else, but you tend to find these things when you're looking for them.
Since I wasn't doing this and being paid for it, it was something I was just doing volunteer work for the cause. There was one mistake that endured all the way through, and I looked at it and I said, okay, I'm just going to leave that in there. At the beginning of it, and I told the webmaster about it too, but at the beginning of it, there's the basic letter from the president and what they say, and then it starts out, length of the agreement. Okay, and out of the entire 14 minutes, or it was 18 minutes to start with, there were things that I repeated and I didn't think I said correctly, but I said length of agreement.
Yeah.
And so I didn't say I left the or the or however you want to say the out of it. So length of agreement, which means exactly the same thing. And so I thought, I'm just going to leave it in there. And I told the webmaster about it, and he said, yeah, he said, I don't think anybody will notice that. I mean, if they were reading it verbatim when they did it, that's fine, but they will never notice it if they're not actually reading the script. So, but anyway, there were things that I did repeat to make sure, but I got one good solid take on the second one, other than that one word. And so anyway, it seems to be something that people are really enjoying having, because for some reason they've never done that before. There are websites, 3 or 4 in each state, or 5 in the bigger states, that have different locals of the union. We have one for our whole state because we're such a loosely populated state. But all of these people have all these websites, and it's all in print, and no one does audio anywhere.
And nobody will be reading it, because I bet you that gets the message across. So because people will click on that and listen to it. Oh, I'll just sit here and I'll listen to it. And because you just get, and especially with something like that, you just want to hear what they're saying. You don't want to have to read, because you'll miss things. People do, because they scan over things, where if there's a voiceover, they will just sit there and listen to it. And if they go to the next stage and put some pretty little pictures that match up with your voice, rather than just that makes it even better. So
it's actually,
you're going to do, is that a new career change for you? You're going to do the voiceover. If you want a different sounding voice, I've got somebody else who can do a different sounding voice if you want to really fool people.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's the American Postal Workers Union, and you have a guy with an Australian English accent doing it. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes, that's right.
It's like, hey, we'll have this guy over here to do it.
Yes, that's right. It says, hey, I've got no involvement in the American postal system, but here's what they're doing for you guys. You could come across to that and say, aren't you lucky? Write the script. If they wrote the script, say, write the script with knowing that it's a non-American saying it, and saying how fortunate you are to be an American and in the postal union, or something like that. I mean, it's... but that's the sort of thing. It's sometimes it all depends what people want, because they might say, no, he doesn't have an American accent, but can we understand him? Yeah, that's fine. Then they don't know, and then we can't be offending any Americans. Why didn't you get somebody with a West Virginian accent? Oh, well, why didn't you get, and then you got someone with the West Virginian. Why didn't you get somebody with a Californian accent? Oh, why didn't you get with a So they said, get somebody who doesn't have any American accent. And nobody, then they'll all be upset.
That is a valid point, because yes, whenever it comes down to it, the people that I had contact with, besides our local people, were the Detroit local, and then in Indiana, which is all in the Midwest there. And they had absolutely no trouble with my accent at all. They actually sent an email back to me, hey, thank you so much for this. And we put this on our website, or I had all the officers listen to it this morning. And, and most people want to go to a union steward and say, hey, what do we get? Things like that. But this is something they could actually listen to on their own. And honestly, this is really a point to where, if I had the time, if I was retired, I'd probably do this. It would be a real good opportunity for a postal news podcast.
But like you said, there's so much opportunity there, where you said they've never done that before.
There's no audio anywhere.
And that's a huge area where they can do it. And as I said, people concentrate on trying to want to do voiceovers for adverts and the high-paid movies. But there's so much work to be done like those things that they're quite fun to do as well, and plus they're not as demanding as these ones that are going to print and that. But because quite often you'll record that, and then they'll come back to you in 4 months to record the revision, because that one's no good because the agreement failed. They want another agreement, but it's always ongoing. And then you could have a more detailed one. So, okay, this is the overview, but if you want more, click on this one to learn more, and then there's another conversation. But they'll get much more across than having people read it, and then more people, at least more of their members, will understand what they're doing for them or not doing for them, whichever the case may be.
Whichever the case may be. Yeah, no matter what you have, no matter how good your agreement is, you're going to have people that like it and people that don't like it. So, some people are complaining.
Oh, I'm glad you got into that, because in my job, I do some, but I haven't done, I've been more working in development and rather than, my machine going to shut down? Just something went click on my machine. It sounds like it's going to shut down because I haven't touched it for a a while, so I don't know what that was. So,
okay.
But
better move my mouse.
I'm going to be doing some sort of project shortly because I want to do some more voiceover because I do think it's much easier. I'm a strong believer of less on the screen and more so the listening, and they don't have to do too much because they're doing their work. They don't want to have to. Oh God, what have I got? What now? What's important for me to read? And that whereas if somebody's telling you about it and do the key points on there, you think, right. But if you've got all that on the screen, well, there's no point having a voiceover if you've got it all written on the screen either.
Right.
Because this, well, that why is he saying that? If he's going to say that, just do a bullet point and he can read the damn thing to me. But I still, and even if you've ever looked at Adobe Captivate, their voice to text is so good. You could even get away with that.
Really?
You ever do that? It's not like the old ones where it's, like the Cylon. It actually sounds. Oh, pardon me. It actually sounds like a person that's just every now and then a word might sound a bit like semi slurred or something because it's a computer, but they sound quite good the way. And as I said, well, rather if you've got nobody who can do it, that voice is much better than somebody who can't even speak properly.
No,
but if you ever see them, it's fantastic the quality that you get these days. So they just put the script in, and if you learn how you can, if you spend an extra hour with it, you can learn how to tweak the text because there's commands you can put in the text. So you can say, I want a longer space after the end of this word. So they don't go clock. I know I always use my sat nav in the car. There's a road called Beaconsfield. That's the name of the road. Beaconsfield Emerald Road. It's wow. Beaconsfield Emerald Road. But she says the sat nav, Beaconsfield Demerald. She puts a D on the Demerald Road because it says Beaconsfield Demerald. She says it as one, but the D it says it's Beaconsfield and Emerald Road. But she said Beaconsfield Demerald Road. But that's because it says it. But you can say that in there. No, say this, then break here. So if it does that, you can say because they don't know. It's a computer. It just says Beaconsfield Demerald. Because it doesn't know where to break it.
Yeah, ACX, the audio book creation exchange.
The one that I'm not allowed to go. The one that I'm not allowed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring up that painful point. But they definitely have a rule: no computery stuff. It has to be you reading things, and.
You can't. They're not that good. You couldn't pull that off. So no, that is me. That is me. See, I'll take like that.
Yeah, well, maybe you just introduce a stutter into the thing, and nobody would know. It sounds very human.
I know it's got nothing to do with this, but there was an old English show called Not the 9 O'Clock News, and there was a skit in there, and they said, "Look, there's somebody over there from Michelin." And they said, "Which one?" And there's a little fat roly-poly thing sat on the tire image. The Michelin man. He says, he's sat there on the thing, and he says, "Which one?" It wasn't obvious. He said, "Who?" Well, he didn't know.
He was talking about him.
It was sort of so obvious, but they didn't know where. Because there's a little Michelin man sat at the rest of the table. So there's somebody here from Michelin. Anyway,
don't recognize it on themselves. There was also another Verses in Vox episode that was released that I was involved in. It was actually Father's Day back in June. The poem "The Children's Hour" by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and they actually released that right on Father's Day specifically because it is about him talking about. He actually names his 3 little girls in the poem, and I really enjoyed that one. It was longer than the other ones that I had done, And so we'll have a link for that too. Actually, it'd be holbrooknewmedia.com/versus2, and that'll take you right to it.
It makes a big difference if you really enjoy it, because I know I did one of the LibriVox ones, and if you get a book that you really enjoy, it's good. Like I've done a couple, and I really never got into the story, so it was sort of like a chore and hard to do. Whereas other ones, I did more chapters in this other one because I enjoyed the story and enjoyed reading it. Where some you just, I really can't get into this. I did one before and I gave it back because I recorded it all and then I just had to edit it. But I just couldn't be bothered, because you know how you just, I didn't enjoy it one little bit. Whereas the other one, which is a book, and I did about 4 times as many as I would normally, because give me another one and I'll get into that. I'll edit that because I was looking forward to the next one. But that's where it's sometimes a struggle when you're doing separate chapters, because you tend not to read the whole thing because you don't have time. Whereas if it's yours, you'd read the whole thing front and back a few times, and you have a concept, and then you get into the characters and that. But when you're just doing single chapters, if you don't do too many of them, it's hard to get into the scheme of things. So, but I've got to get back into it a bit more. But I have been quite a bit lazy. Just I've been very selfish, just thinking about myself lately. So,
well, okay, no, like I say, it's
and that's usually what you've got to do sometimes. But in my spare time, and plus things go so quickly now. I just get finished this, we put that, stop this show, do that. Then I get ready for the next one on Saturday morning. We do that, and then by the time we finish off, then getting ready for this one, getting this one again. So
okay, no, I understand. Yeah, I am for the most part. I'm doing this show, and then there's so many other things I could be doing. There's even more podcasting type of things that I want to release based on. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 or 6 separate, shows to release on the same feed, short form stuff that I've already done.
Have I made you a co-host or not? I can't remember.
Yeah, it looks like you've done it 3 or 4 times. It's showing on the screen.
I thought I put you on and took you off, I thought. So I didn't know whether I've made you, because what I want you to, I've come across something really cool on this, and I didn't know. You remember how we could put something in the like a YouTube or something like that, we was able to put on the others so you could see the YouTube?
Yes.
I didn't notice, but on the other side of that little thing, you can put on, let's see if I can do this. Okay. Let's see, but this will stay there. Okay. What you can do, you can click the button next to that. All right, and then I can do this. I can do this.
Very cool.
Hang on, let's see if it works.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now that's what's on my other screen.
Oh, like so you could do a screencast type of thing.
Yeah, and so now let's.
Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
I don't know how this comes out on the recording, because I don't know if it records that now on there. But I just went out the other day, but it was just that was just to say. I just did that I was just trying to see at night time, taking a few pictures out on when I was going to pick somebody up from the airport, and I thought I'll just get that out and see how it comes out on there. But this was more so showing. Now that shows on that one, that shows the program that I'm doing and that part of the screen. But what you can do is as well, I think if I stop that, I think I can. That was just the program. Let's see if it stops. Let's see. Oh, is that kick that out or kick me out?
There we go.
Let's try it again. Here I am. But I can do. I think that one was just showing me that particular photo in that, but now this one shows me the whole screen of it. Now that's the whole screen that it was. So you can show the program, just the program part of it, share that but now this was Lightroom that I was actually on.
Okay. So how can you actually put that in there? Is that the one over to the left here where it says share the last 30 seconds and then the thing beside
No, the one next to where they put the link, there's a little square box. And if you're on Chrome, it's a plugin you get for Chrome.
Okay. I'm on Chrome.
Yeah, so on the, I don't know if it's because let me stop to see if you can do that. But see, that shows that's the photo I took, and I was just taking through the mirror and having a play around. And the coal came out shocking. That was about the only one that came out really in focus. And I was trying that one in a video, and just trying that because it was dark at night, and that's out the back of the dirty car window. But I was trying all these things. But let's try and get rid of this and see. So that says go out there, but down the bottom, I don't know. You know where there's a green arrow to the right? You've got that on yours? No. On that one where it says lock seat down that bottom.
All it says right here is open seat. I'm still showing as a guest up here. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, there's 4 things over here. It says I've been made a host, no longer a host, made a host, no longer a host. So I think I was unhosted.
Oh, okay. So if I host you, have I hosted you?
Yes. Okay. Now it's
unlocked. Okay, because it's confusing because the plus sign comes up when you're not a host, and the X sign comes up when you are. To me, X means no, and plus means yes.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
so
I can see
back to front. So I thought that's what. So you should be a host now, are you? Yes.
Okay, yes, I am. So now you the one with the arrow.
Yes, and then to the left of the arrow, there's a purple box.
Okay. Yeah, there is a box. Okay, I see the box. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was behind where I had my camera setting.
Yeah. So that's where if you click on that, if you haven't got the plugin, it will ask you to give the plugin. But if you click onto that, if you've got the plug, you might already have the Chrome plugin. But I just stumbled on that by accident, playing around last night, setting up for the show and just putting it on there. So.
Okay, Blab screen share extension, add to Chrome. Okay, let's add it.
Yeah, so it just takes a few seconds, and I was quite surprised that I didn't know that was it. But that makes, and especially if it'd be really interesting if it now does come out on the recording. If it doesn't, it makes for very boring shows. But if it does, you can put in because when I was playing around with Blab last night, I thought, I could just share my screen, put something on just to see if it's working and that.
Oh, well, there's a thing when I clicked on the green arrow, it says heads up, drop-ins won't show in recordings or audio archives yet, but we're working on it.
That's right, but it might be on this screen sharings but drop-ins might not because you're sharing something now, aren't you?
You're trying to. It actually did that. Okay, clicked open.
That's you put is there
actually it took my whole screen up. It's loading another thing here.
Is it? Yeah, I can't see anything yet. It says click to open the link. Well, I've got to no, that's me.
I clicked on it and got a full screen. This was the actual Union website that had that link on it, and I was going to play a little bit of that and let you hear that. Site can't be reached, but it doesn't seem to want to let us do it. Yeah, let me see.
No, but would it share your screen? But can you share just the whole screen to see does it work? Or
what it's doing whenever I click on it, it actually completely takes over and it just opens another tab in my browser.
No, not when you close that one down though. So if you close that, say, if you close that one down, when you click on the purple box, what comes up? Not on the green tab. It should say share. Should come up with the screen to say what? That's the right one. Now you're going to share your screen by the looks of it.
Okay, let's see. So all I've got is the main screen here, and then my WordPad thing. I'll just go ahead and share that. This is I keep notes over to the left side. See, Daryl likes the show.
Oh yeah,
I keep notes over
that's
here.
Good. So you know that works. So that's good. So that's sharing your screen, or that's just sharing that thing on there. So that's great. So that's working good. So
yeah, that's excellent.
It would be interesting to see. Did you happen to see the last show recording?
No, I have not. I was
quite proud with how I inserted Eileen into it. It was really good.
Oh yes, I did. Matter of fact, I watched the whole show. You're right. I watched that one. I keep thinking, I'm forgetting we didn't do one last week, but yes, I did that, and I really liked how you put her in there, and then you did the other thing that had that thing from her website, and the fact that we were talking about the subject that we were talking about.
Yeah, the only thing that annoyed me is underneath when I put it up there, I did get the right YouTube address, but I'd rearranged it, but it cut part of it off, so you couldn't see it correctly. But I thought, nobody can click it; they won't notice. But that's what I thought, because while she was on the screen, it was just 3 of us, and there was an empty spot down the bottom, so that's why I put her picture in from one of her live streams in there to fill it up to make it look a bit better, and it looked really good. We're seeing something really good.
Let's see if I can do the.
It's coming up. So
okay, this is the union website, and here's my actual.
Oh, he's going to do that. Can you hear it?
Yes. Can you?
No. No, that's maybe the. You might have to tweak the settings to say you can get the audio as well. So, oh, it sounds good for me. It's no sound at all, unfortunately.
Oh, well.
Pretty dull and boring as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. It's still doing it up here with it. Off the screen.
You're not saying much.
Yeah, like I say, it was doing the great big old preachy thing over on this end. I was like,
I've got this camera ready. I'll just do some filming while I'm doing that.
Okay. Okay. Now it says we have a new union contract, that type stuff. So yeah. Oh well. Well, anyway, that was fun to play with.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to ever play with that. Different one to see whether there is. Did you get sound when I did mine a few moments ago?
Yes, I actually got to hear the cars. I mean, it was very low, but I heard cars going by.
Yeah, well, because that was on the video shot as well. So
wait a minute. I wonder though. I clicked on the screen over here. Maybe I should have clicked on the screen that was showing to you. Do you mind trying that again, real quick?
You're going to do it, or I'm going to do it?
I was going to try the same thing I just did, but
yeah, you do.
But I clicked on the screen, my screen, instead of the one that was okay. Well, I'll have to bring it back. I have to bring it back again. You go right ahead. I got rid of it to get it to quit talking. Wait a minute. I have to go back and do the same thing again. What 33 dot? Yeah, I may have clicked in the wrong place.
Yeah, because I thought I'm sure I heard it. I didn't know whether you heard the cars going past. And
yeah, I heard that. So maybe I clicked in the wrong place. Okay, so we'll do this. Screen 2. Share.
Oh God, I just thought that's just fantastic that you can do that, and it'd be better.
What happened with that? It took it down that way.
So
stop sharing. Okay. Huh. For some reason it. Okay, so that's the Firefox share. Okay. Oh, it's sharing it. It's putting on the bottom half of the screen instead of showing you and I this time.
Okay. No, it's in the middle of the screen on mine, showing the. Okay. Yep.
Let's see. It's not letting me.
Click on your. Oh,
it's not.
You can't click on the audio.
No, it isn't letting me do it. No matter which one I click on, I'm getting the wrong.
But you can't click on the file.
No, not in the.
Because you're working on one screen as well, aren't you? So
no. I actually have two. I have a second screen over this way, and so
I put mine onto the second screen and then just shared that whole screen. That's the actual the program. So probably get the audio up first before you play it, and then share that. See if that works. Because you can pick just the audio part of it. See, because that's what I inadvertently did instead of sharing Lightroom. I just shared the video file. So.
Is that it?
That's the audio file, yeah. But no, I've got no sound though. Still
no sound. Okay.
No.
Oh, that's no fun.
Oh well, we'll have to. I just don't know why mine's working. If I get I can't find the damn video one now. I lost that. Oh, there it is. So that one's the MP. So if I share just this one, so this one you're going to get sound on. So listen, see if you get sound. So you should get that.
Yes.
Sound. Okay. So you got sound on that. So let's see if I don't do that one. And if I share the application, the whole window, or not the whole window, rather than that. So now you can see Lightroom, the interface.
And what it's doing, it's overrunning us at the bottom, and the upper half is staying blank.
Yeah. Also, no, I've got mine. It's showing the thing on there. So on this one, and when I play it, can you getting the sound again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I don't. Let me give you the address of what I was doing.
Okay, just put that in the chat thing, and I'll pull that up. So
okay.
Yeah, so that might be.
Okay, that's it.
But it's just another thing that we can get to play with. Oh, come on.
I guess I should have put the HTTP and all that.
It says open. I'll just drag it across to the other one. Oh. It's thinking, so let's see what happens on this one.
I think I can hear William snoring.
Yeah. I've had his friend Hudson here for 3 weeks, and he went home the other night, so
probably bored.
He's missing him. So, but before he was, can you see that on the screen?
Yes, on the bottom down there. Yes, yeah. Click right there. Yeah.
Let's see if I can. Now, can you see the?
Yes, the player.
Yeah. Now that looks different to what we did on yours. So let's see. I'm in Chrome. You was in Firefox, I think, weren't you?
Well, yeah, it was for that one. That could be Firefox. Could be the problem.
Listen. Can you hear it?
I can hear it some. It's a little light, but I've heard it.
Yeah. So, yeah, did you hear that? So it came through. So
I can hear it some. I can hear it a little bit. Whether it's going to come through, I do believe they said it's not going to come through in the recording.
Well, we'll just have to. I'll get rid of that. It says Blab sharing screen. Is sharing your screen Blab hide or stop sharing? I'll stop sharing. So because you can stop the sharing rather than just close it down, I think. So, but yeah. I'll keep that so I can have a listen to it.
Whenever I do show notes for the podcast version of this, then I put links for everything in there anyway, where people can go and hear the things. But and there's a listing of the different subjects that we talked about, things like that, and then we go ahead and now you don't have the thing coming up to tell you whenever we run out of time, do you?
It's nearly it said it's 8:57, so it's about 3 minutes time. So but I can see that coming up there. So I'll just start singing myself. But as I said, what I'll do, I'll put that in post. I'll put the ending in there, and because I thought there's nobody watching, so what's the point? Live, because I mean, if there was 50 people there, it's an impressive. But other than that, it doesn't matter if we just do it for the recording.
Yeah, but we had three people here today for that. Yeah.
Oh, but they weren't there for the opening though. They came in after that. So
no, I think probably for you it'll be easier to go ahead and do it in post and just go ahead and pop in the way you're doing now. It'd probably be a lot easier than all the fighting and stuff that you're doing with the other.
Yeah, because even that I've got part of my because I've got a 3-stage lighting kit.
Sure.
And I put in an LED on the other one. So this is the overhead one I wasn't using on the other one. So it's just on a stand. Well, you can see if you can you see that? That's the stand there.
Goodness,
and that's
the light. Wow.
And then there's William. Can you see he's just there? He's in his background, just snoring in the background there.
Okay, so this is a completely different room. So which mic do you have there? That's your shotgun mic?
This is the NTG2.
Oh yes, I've heard
NTG2.
Usually whenever you say that, the podcasters go because that's really a well revered microphone in podcasting.
Oh, is it? So, but I like that because it can give a nice deep sound. It's not too tinny. But then again, sometimes I don't use it too much for the voiceovers for the work because it just sounds too announcery sometimes. I don't like it sounds too deep sometimes.
Just coming through the headphones right here, and you have to see how it does coming through the recording, but you sound cleaner and not as I don't know, with the Wirecast, the more you overtake the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain, the more things you have in your chain. I was looking at some of the tech down overs too, and again, there's a lot going on in your chain, and so I think that the sound that we're getting here is a little better than that because it's not as involved in everything going on and all the equipment running and everything.
And the thing is with the way they do with other ones, like I've found with putting through Wirecast, it's not so much the Wirecast, but it's because it's going from there and then going back through here, and it sounds a bit like it's going through water. That's the only way I can. When you do something like if I have the music came, it just sounds a bit funny when it's going because it's a virtual output from what that's put together. Whereas if you just get a straight thing, it's quite good. Like even the tech down over, it's challenging sometimes when they put it through coming back to the other way. It can come, but the sound is really good at the first place, but it gets awkward sometimes too. That. And as I said, this is less done, but sometimes can come through better because it's just going straight in there. No processing, just going straight into the feed. And I think the great thing with Blab is it's designed for that. If you get too much, well, you don't want high quality. It's not designed for that. If you're going through too many things, you're just losing, like you said, you're just losing a bit too much by the time it actually gets there. Whereas that's what I'm trying to think about, if we can get just a Skype.
Oh, okay.
And if we can join up to there nicely, because you can do a really good one with the Wirecast just by as long as it's not going through too many things. But they've just got a new version of Wirecast out, which does that mix minus thing that stops you from having to have two machines.
There you go. Okay.
Before so I'm just tossing up whether to pay $179 for the upgrade because that's fine for you, but it's $269 for me or something with the $179. So. And I thought, well, do I need it that much, or do I just put up with what I've got at the moment? So, and I thought, well, I'll just put up with what we have. So, yeah, we went to do a show on this Saturday, just gone, and we had a guest, but something that upgraded something and nothing worked. So we had to give it a miss. Always a thing when these upgrades come out, they always start messing about. So anyway, so we're nearly we are through. So just after 2 minutes past 9. So
sounds great. Well, like you say, it just seems like it's been so long since we've been on here, but it's been 2 weeks where we were on a holiday last week. So But anyway, it's really good. We actually had fancy stuff to talk about like we usually do. Got a few guests in. And...
Oh, that's right. But unfortunately, we didn't talk to them. I feel horrible that we didn't say anything to any of them because we was busy talking.
I spoke. I spoke to a couple of them just in transit. But then when it came down to it, we had stuff we were talking about. So there you go. Okay, I'll play with it. Looks like we're still recording. Hey, he's back.
Oh.
You got kicked out.
I didn't get kicked out. You know what? I just for some reason I just clicked my thing and it did the back browser. The back button on the browser.
Oh,
and so it took me out. I said, well, do it forward, go back to work, because how did I just get it? And I said he would be really annoyed. He said, well, he said he was going, but he could have said goodbye.
Yeah, I was like, well, you'll see the recording. We're used to still on the recording. No, I did not go, how rude. No, I didn't do that.
Just slid across and it just... That's the thing with these, because I don't use a mouse anymore on these because I can't do. I use this trackpad.
Okay.
And I just get around the screen so much easier. But sometimes if you've got do the wrong thing, like if you do two fingers on it, well, that's you forward and backwards on your browser. But it's much better than the laptop thing. So that's what I said there. That's what I'm using.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I use, and it's once you get used to that, I can't go back to a mouse. I'm much more. I can, like when I want to hold and grab things, I can click with my thumb and then drag around with my finger to move. But it's just so you don't have to move it all. It's much better than a mouse. But I didn't think I'd like it at all for years. But now I just can't live without that. I don't use a mouse, but it's just there And then when you go to use one of these things again, I just can't use
it. I have a conventional wired mouse, but one of the things that I got a trackball type mouse that has
with the rolly things on the top of it.
Yeah, it's actually back here. It's all dusty and stuff, but I couldn't quite get the hang of it for editing, audio editing, and I really do like my mouse. So
that's what I found with that track. I can click onto a scene, highlight it, stretch it out, do different things with that, which I can't do with the mouse because I've got to be so careful with the mouse. Whereas I can hold it still with me thumb and with me finger, just move that up and do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a mouse, but that your thumb holds it. So it's only on the Apple one.
How much I use this wheel.
Yeah.
Because with Audacity, you can hold down a key, roll the wheel, and things happen. Yeah. And so you're just doing this two-handed, like use the keyboard and then using the mouse and rolling the wheel and scooting over here and doing that. And I've got such a system down. I'm so used to doing it that to change from the mouse would be quite the learning curve for me to try to figure out that stuff.
What I did, I got that and then still had the mouse. So I probably won't use it. It seems a good idea. I'll use it every now and then. And then I found out, hang on, the batteries were flat in the mouse and I'll never use it. So the next one, I never bothered getting a mouse for that because it's worked out really good. I just wish I could have that for me normal day-to-day at work and that without having to use a mouse. But the ones for Windows just don't work half as good. I just don't know how Apple do it, but on a Windows one, I'm always touching it with my wrists and clicking things you don't want to. But theirs, you just tend not to do it. And like there, you just hover over that and just do the free thing. I've just thrown the screen over to the other thing without holding it down, and it's just so much easier. And I just don't know how it does it. You just one finger won't do that. You just have your gestures and you're pinching out so you can extend you out, make you big in the web just by pinching it. Really good on that, which you can't do with the mouse. Anyway, so we'll leave that there. So thank you for the chat for the past hour, and we'll catch up again. I see that camera's done. It looks like I'm falling down now because I'm really down now because I put the camera back in the wrong way.
Yeah, mine's kind of coming up at me. So let me ask you this real quick. Do you like the sound treatment looking back there better than that noisy?
Yes. Well, I noticed it, so it was
right away.
Yeah, because
I was going to put it up there and just see what you would say, but I thought, it's probably more effective than what I had, and I needed something on the door over here anyway. But I thought maybe not having those colors in the shop might be a good thing.
What I got, I bought this screen.
Yes.
I bought that screen so I can blank out all. Like this is a room I've got upstairs. It's just this is my my sort of den room with I have a telly, a sound system, and then you might not see but there's an ironing board and I do my ironing up there and the clothes hanging.
I do all the ironing and the clothes rack. Yeah.
So when I'm watching the telly, I can watch the telly. I'll do that, but I still have another probably lounge room downstairs. But that's mine, and this is sort of my office area that's because I've got another computer there, and then that's my other monitor, and then this is that one. So because then that's hooked up to me work one, and that's how I've got everything in there. So yeah, it's really nice. So
let me show the room I'm working out of here. Okay, here's the actual messy desk. There's that on the door that goes out onto the balcony. Okay, anyway. Here is my actual computer setup. There you are.
Oh, there I am too.
There you are. And this is my 21-inch monitor. And then this one here is another 15. So I keep notes over there that I want to do. I showed this to you a while ago. But anyway, back this way this is where I am. Over this way is where the room is not finished yet.
Oh, okay.
It's my daughter's room. See, there's a little refrigerator in the corner that'll probably be there. There's our PA system over here against the wall. There's one of my monitor speakers. And that PA system and things like that will be going downstairs. The ladder is to help with what I'm doing here. You can see there's my sound treatment. There's the ants again. but anyway, as soon as the PA system and some other things are going to be going downstairs to my wife's project room. I don't know if I can set this back up again because I had it in there. But anyway, it was get in there where you belong. Okay. But anyway, So then I'm going to have this part of the room to set up the way I want to. I think I may get a screen, something like you've got, and put it over here and put some sound treatment on the inside of it.
Yeah.
To where then I'm completely closed in here because I have curtains that I'll be putting on the windows. I have those that are sound treatment type curtains, and it's going to be even.
Good. And it's amazing how little you have to have of them to make a big difference. Because all you have to have something to stop it, like the sound treatment, like we've got in the back, that just stops it from bouncing off. But the curtains actually stop some sound coming in.
That is what I'm thinking about, because there is a road about 200 yards down that way, and so I can, when I'm in here, I can hear that road noise sometimes, and when I get in the booth, it's not so bad. But if I can stop it from coming into this room, then I won't hear it in the booth either.
And that's what they say those sound blankets do, apart from just it's good for the outside noise, whereas the other sound treatment does nothing for noise cancellation. It just bounces off what's in there, but not stopping anything, whereas the sound blankets stop things from getting in there in the first place. And I think if you can get them, they're just not that expensive either, but it's just being able to figure out where to hang them up on that. So just sort of blocking yourself into making everything dull and dark. I think that's the only problem. Anyway, we'll finish it here. So thanks again. And I'll see you same time next week.
Same bat channel.
Yeah.